over again.
It was real surreal to think that, I mean, that's only just...
That's how bad the glitch was.
A couple of days ago, and that has just been shocked ever since. I mean, it's been, you know, fighting back tears all afternoon, trying to make sense of it all, and knowing that there's nothing behind it.
And of course, Fred, as you noted, it's been a difficult year for Capitol Police. Officer Evans becoming the second Capitol Police officer killed in the line of duty this year, following Officer Brian Sicknick, who died while responding to the insurrectionists on January 6th. And it's important to point out there were
Come on, little buddy.
officers that were injured that day that are still recovering from their injuries, and officers who later died by suicide as a result of the assault that day. The Capitol Police Department has put out a statement thanking the world, essentially, for an outpouring of support. Here's what they wrote this morning on Twitter. They write, quote, "The U.S. Capitol Police Department is deeply grateful for this.
You're better than my horse right now.
We wish we could respond to each one of you. Please know your sympathy is appreciated beyond words." We should also note, Fred, that there was a second Capitol Police officer.
Come on, little buddy.
During yesterday's attack. We don't have many details on their identity or their condition, but we are working to get those right now, Fred.
Boris, thank you so much.
You a fast one, huh?
Suspect.
Show me what you got.
Media post, but what else?
Look at that zebra go. Mule. Go zebra. Go, 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 go. Easy, big boy. Easy, 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 big boy.
He found an Instagram account that appeared to belong to Green, and on it, he posted in the days leading up to this attack that he felt that he was the victim of mind control. He also
Come this way, buddy.
that the government, he said, quote, was the #1 enemy of the black people. That was a caption on a video featuring the head of the Nation of Islam.
Flash, be nice to the donkey, alright? There he is. Hey, little buddy. Wee doggy.
And he's been noted as being a good and talented athlete. He played football there, but a quiet and a bit of a loner type, Federica. Still a lot to be learned here, according to the head of the Department of Homeland Security, about this investigation as it continues to unfold. A lot to learn about the suspect, Noah Green. Of course, investigators are not really taking many chances right now. A lot of security. You can see the foundation behind it. Long after the January 6th attack here on the Capitol. But new this morning, more barricades went up, more concrete barriers went up to try and protect this fortress around the Capitol. Lots of people here around Washington. It is a high tourist season here. It's the peak of the cherry blossom season here. And now they're intermingling with about 2,300 members of the National Guard.
Pretty significant. All right. Thank you so much, Peter and Boris Sanchez.
This nigga funny as hell.
Joining me right now is retired U.S. Capitol Police officer, 34-year veteran of the department, John Buell. Jill, so good to see you. This is yet another sad day for U.S. Capitol Police. You know, just months after the Capitol insurrection, killing Officer Brian Sicknick. So, what are your thoughts on this day?
It's a very sad day. We lost another officer from the U.S. Capitol Police. I can remember back in 1998 when 2 officers were shot and killed by a suspect that entered the Capitol building. And the officers maintained good control of the visitors while the action was going on. And like I said, I usually would go down and talk to Officer Chestnut before I left the Capitol, you know, at finishing my day duty. And for that day, there was a lot of commotion going on. I was trying to find out what was happening, and when I saw these people running down the steps towards the west front of the Capitol, when I got up to the crypt area, I noticed 2 officers had their hats off and their guns drawn. And through inquiry and radio dispatch, they said there was a shooter in the Capitol building, and they had just shot one officer at the door, and they were looking for the other one. But afterwards, we didn't know for sure whether the other officer had succumbed to the situation, but then we found out later on that both officers were deceased. And that really took a hard
that was dumb.
The officers, and it was a very sad day.
Sorry, Flash. That was stupid of me.
I remember this, you know, in detail like it was yesterday, and that you described was 1998. So talk to me about the kind of vulnerability, perhaps, that you felt, you know, immediately after that, and for how long did you feel that?
Well, it was quite a sensation, you know, to deal with. And as soon as that took place, there were situations where the police department upgraded certain situations as far as the doors were concerned. And they had extra help, either with an extra officer or a what they called a person who worked with the officer, but they weren't a police officer. They were there especially to check the X-ray machine and watch people come through the door. That takes a load off the officer from having to do two things at once.
And so now here, this year alone, 2 attacks on U.S. Capitol involving Capitol Police. Is it your worry now that these attacks are becoming far too, you know, frequent, and might be, this is the beginning of these attacks becoming more frequent?
Well, it's a possibility that it's going to be more frequent, but, you know, and looking at the security around the Capitol, you know, we must maintain it as best as possible. And through the fencing, which was a big problem with, you know, everybody, sometimes you have to maintain tight security like that for a while until you're able to, you know, resolve that problem and use new measures in order to, you know, take care of that situation. Now, the fencing, per se, that was around the Capitol was taken down about a week before this happened. And supposedly, if this gate was still up, or the fence was still up, the driver would have had to go through that fence first before he hit the blockade. And therefore, the officers might have had enough time to see what the situation was and act accordingly.
A little bit more time. So the motive of yesterday's suspect, still unclear. How important is it in your view to learn what the motive was behind this attack?
Oh, yes, sir. She's our star.
Well, we don't know from day to day what's going to take place. You know, a lot of people are talking about, well, the mentally ill. Well, there's a situation where a suspect killed several people and then said they had a bad day. So who's to say how you detect these people? You know, he didn't have a previous record. Wasn't nothing listed for him, so therefore he's not, you know, a thing that became a threat.
Yeah, so what in your view needs to be provided to help Capitol Police to keep you safe as you continue on with your commitment, Capitol Police commitment to protect and serve?
Well, we have to be more vigilant, you know, and be aware of your surroundings. And you have to really look at every person. You know, it's one of those things where you never know what's going to transpire. So if something doesn't look right, they always say, if you see something, say something. And if you have to call in to a supervisor and say, I have a situation here that needs to be taken care of, you know, you back her. But at that point, you know that something's wrong and you've acted. And that's what we have to do. Have more officers, you know, becoming alert now than ever before, because the way this world is turning. You know, you never know from one day to the next who or what's going to happen. So you have to be pretty much on alert.
Retired Capitol Police Officer John Buell, thank you so much. Thank you to all that you have done and continue to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Coming up next, sports and politics. colliding in Georgia after MLB pulled the All-Star game from the state because of its new voting law. The governor is now slamming the league and saying he will not back down if there are future boycotts or protests. And later, we heard emotional testimonies from witnesses during the trial of Derek Chauvin. I'll reflect on what we all experienced this week.
It's time for a new season of United Shades of America. You know we got a lot to talk about. New season of United Shades of America. Me, Nick Bell, May 2nd, 10 on CNN.
I think it's exciting, honestly, that some of the science is coming out and saying that you can feed beef earlier to kids. They can actually start eating beef a lot earlier than you think. Juju has been eating beef since 7 months old, I think.
Right around 6 months, 5-6 months.
At first he was just ground beef and purees, and now he likes beef.
When news happens anywhere in the world, CNN is there. The crackdown inside Belarus has significantly worsened.
Do you know who these children are? Have you seen them before? We were looking for the lost Uyghur children of Xinjiang.
This is part of a campaign against the women in Tibet.
Another brutal day for Brazil, and more than 3,000 deaths from the virus. People feel compelled to make this dark, perilous journey.
China is not happy with this reporting.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for him, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her, she's serving now. We also make USAA for military spouses and their kids. I'm a member. Get an insurance quote today.
At American Sale, we're known for having the best selection of food, agriculture, hot dogs, and grills. Everything you need for your outdoor fun. More importantly, it's the quality of the products we sell. And our product experts can answer any of your questions. And right now, you can save up to 50%, and we'll pay your sales tax. Or get 0% financing and get our lowest price guaranteed. At American Sale, we're open, so come visit us or visit us online. American Sale, bring the fun home.
My all-time favorite moment, Tonight Show, 1964, Ed Ames from Game of Boom.
The classic Ed Ames, the fact that it was live, unexpected.
He just knows. The laughter, he just rings. I think Johnny Carson became Johnny Carson in that moment.
The Story of Late Night premieres Sunday night, May 2nd at 9.
CNN International is open to the world.
I'm Christiana Manpour in Helsinki, Finland. I'm Becky Hamilton in Abu Dhabi.
I'm here in a remote part of southern India.
From the New York Stock Exchange, Port Elizabeth, Birmingham, Puerto Rico, Hong Kong, London, Tokyo, Moscow, Miami.
Go international, anytime, anywhere, from selected devices. Stream it live now.
Lost it before we've even started.
CNN Go International.
Start each new day with Alison Camerata.
Hold on a second, Mr. Mayor. Can we get some facts about it?
And John Berman.
A crisis situation overnight.
For the most news in the morning. New day, weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on CNN.
I want to go now to an incredible story of survival. Could all this spending lead to a bigger economic crisis? Would you do it all again in terms of being a nurse?
I want to help people more than I ever have.
Aaron Burnett out front, weeknights at 7 on CNN.
The decision by Major League Baseball to pull the All-Star game out of Georgia in response to a new voter law that the state has been actually drawing both support and criticism. Georgia's Republican governor is blasting the move. The game is blasting the move for the MLB to take the All-Star game out of Georgia. Meanwhile, some Democrats worry that this decision by the MLB will be just the first of many boycotts the state could face unless the law is changed.
I can't say that I like it, but I certainly understand it. And it is really probably the first of many boycotts of our state to come. And the consequences of this bill are significant. And just as the legislators and the governor made the decision, the legislators and the governor made the decision to go forward with this bill, people are making decisions not to come to our state.
For more on today's developments, let's bring in Natasha Chen. So, Natasha, the governor held a news conference to defend this law. Does it appear that he has any plans to push for any changes or compromise?
Absolutely not, Fred. He seemed defiant and doubled down on his position, and he was flanked by a lot of state legislators who agree with him. He said that Major League Baseball, as well as some of these corporations making blanket criticism statements, he said that they were bending to the left, bending to cancel culture, that they were afraid of Stacey Abrams and Joe Biden. And he also stated that, this is terrible for the small businesses who are hoping to benefit from this game being played here in Georgia. I asked him whether if MLB had come to him with specific problems with the bill, which is what he said they should have done. I asked if they had done that. Was there any part of this bill that he would have been willing to talk about openly or adjust? He said that was a hypothetical question with no answer because they didn't actually do that. I also asked about a timeline of getting this bill passed into law, whether it had to do with...
It's not a dog.
If there was any fraud in the recent elections in Georgia. He didn't answer that directly, said that different people have different feelings about how the elections went last year. Did say that there were issues with the election that needed to be addressed. Here's what he said.
There were mechanical issues that needed to be fixed. There were reasons to try to figure out a better way, a more accessible,
because it wasn't a dog,
and a more secure way for us to hold elections. And there's nothing wrong with that. We shouldn't apologize for wanting to make it easy to vote and hard to cheat. Now, if we were making it less easy to vote and harder to cheat, then maybe there's an argument for boycotts and protests and moving all-star games. But that is not what happened.
Let's read this statement from Cobb Tourism and Travel. They said that tourism is one of the hardest hit industries during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the initial stages of the pandemic, many Cobb hotels saw single-digit occupancy numbers. The 8,000 plus MLB contracted hotel room nights that will not actualize as a result of the MLB All-Star Game relocation will have a negative impact on Cobb's hospitality industry and other local businesses, further delaying recovery. The estimated lost economic impact from the MLB All-Star Game relocation is more than $100 million, Fred. So a lot of concern right now for these businesses in the area who are hoping for a real boost after the pandemic and will not be getting that from this game.
All right, Natasha Chen, thanks so much for that. All right, for a fact check of all the rhetoric and the confusion surrounding Georgia's new voting law, let's bring in CNN's Daniel Dale. So Daniel, let's start off with what President Biden has said about it.
He got me?
Biden has, of course, been very...
Damn!
Some of his criticism is factual, but...
Thought I had him.
Listen to something he said on ESPN on Wednesday.
Or you're going to close a polling place at 5 o'clock where working people just get off? This is all about people, working folks and ordinary folks that I grew up with from being able to vote.
So this bill does not touch election day voting hours in Georgia, which are still at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it does not force Georgia to...
Motherfucker got me again.
...in early voting. What it says is that there's a mandatory minimum of 9 o'clock. Counties can go 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. if they want to. You know, some critics have said, well, but that is a lot of counties to shut at 5 if they want. The thing is, Trent, that they already allowed counties to shut at 5 under the previous bill. The previous bill said counties have to go normal business hours. So what this bill does is specify that normal hours means at least 9 to 5. You can't say, for example, 10 to 4. There are other provisions of the law, I'll get to this, that are quite restrictive, but this hours thing is not one of them.
Here's another provision that has been quite controversial. This part about giving water and food to people waiting in line to vote. What is the governor saying about that, and what are the facts?
So the governor is being misleading by leaving important parts of this provision out. He's saying, well, it only prohibits people from giving out food and water if you're within 150 feet of a voting location. What he's not mentioning is that it also prohibits people from giving out food and water if they're within 25 feet of any voter in line, even if they're beyond 150 feet from the building. He's saying, look, this just prevents...
Really, Margaret?
...and candidates from bothering voters in line. No, it does not only restrict special interest people running for office. It says any person cannot hand out gifts, including food and drink. Now, he is correct. There is one exception. County officials, election staff, can set up an unattended water station, but he's leaving a lot out about the prohibition on everyone else giving out food and water.
And then what's the governor saying about the provisions that entail the drop boxes?
Yeah, so he is really spinning that provision to the point of being misleading. So this new law will require big urban counties, say Atlanta's Fulton County, to significantly cut the number of drop boxes from the number they had in 2020. Fulton County had 38 boxes in the 2020 general election. They say they'll now be forced to go down to 8. Now, Kemp is saying this is not a cut because the boxes were authorized last year under a temporary pandemic rule. He says now they're a long-term part of actual law. Look, a cut from 38 under a special rule to 8 in a long-term law is still a cut from last year to this year.
Big difference. All right, Daniel, good to see you.
Thank you.
For the trial of their children, there was key, potentially damning testimony this week in court. The details on what was revealed.
Hey guys. Hi there. Welcome to Hidden.
Should have done it years ago, and I feel like the young stud that I always imagined I was.
Outstanding. Looks above and beyond our expectations.
This has been a life changer, even in just a few weeks.
Featured in GQ, Playboy, and Men's Health. Find out what all the buzz is about. Rise to the occasion for your money back. Visit forhims.com/ed.
What are my stats? On the minds of no, not that. The stats I control. Well, my investments are tracking out. My mortgage will be paid off in 12 years. And I know exactly how much I spend. $940 on food. Get out of here. $2,600 on the house and car. Oh, and I'm retiring at 61. My wife is another 10. Know your stats and start financing with Quicken. Try risk-free for 30 days.
Where news happens anywhere in the world, CNN is there.
A CNN investigation into a peaceful protest turned deadly.
They had an explosion. There was an exchange of gunfire. Growing concern that imports might be carrying the virus.
The pandemic's now robbing many of even a minimum income. This family $3 per month.
The country's always been changing, but it's never been as fast as it has been.
We're going to go see if he has anything to say. Was it your team that pulled Ray Valley?
Where news happens anywhere in the world, CNN is there.
The crackdown inside Belarus has significantly worsened.
Do you know who these children are? Have you seen them before?
We were looking for the lost Uyghur children of Xinjiang.
What brought you to the clinic here today?
This is part of a campaign against the women of Tigray.
Another brutal day for Brazil. More than 3,000 deaths from the virus. People feel compelled to make this dark, perilous journey. China is not happy with this reporting.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for him, the veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We also make USAA for military spouses and their kids. Become a member. Get an insurance quote today.
We need calm. The world needs it. In theaters and on HBO Max, Outplay, rated PG-13.
CNN International is open to the world.
I'm Christiana Monpour in Helsinki, Finland. I'm Becky Hamilton in Abu Dhabi.
I'm here in a remote part of southern India.
From the New York Stock Exchange, Port Elizabeth, Birmingham, Puerto Rico, Hong Kong, London, Damascus, Tokyo, Moscow, Nairobi.
Go international, anytime, anywhere, from selected devices. Stream it live now.
Exhausted before we've even started.
CNN Go International.
It's time for a new season of United Shades of America. You know we got a lot to talk about. A new season of United Shades of America. With me, Vic Bell, premieres May 2nd at 10 on CNN.
My all-time favorite moment, Tonight Show, 1964, Ed Ames from Daniel Boone.
The classic Ed Ames tomahawk. The fact that it was live, unexpected.
He just knows. The laughter he just raised. I think Johnny Carson became Johnny Carson in that moment.
I didn't even know you were doing it.
The Story of Late Night premieres Sunday night, May 2nd at 9.
At CNN, we see the devastation caused by natural disasters, famine, and war. We also see how the generosity of others can change lives. You and CNN's Impact Your World can help. Reputable charities that are checked out by CNN. See the difference it makes. You give time, share stories, or donate by just clicking the button. Be a part of the solution. Impact Your World.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Scared, threatened, sad, helpless, and kind of mad. That's how witnesses described feeling as they watched George Floyd lie under the knee of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged in Floyd's murder. The first week of testimony coming to a close after 5 days of emotional and potentially damaging eyewitness accounts. CNN's Josh Campbell has more from Minneapolis.
The family of George Floyd kneeling in protest Monday, just hours before testimony would begin on the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former police officer accused of murdering their loved one. Prosecutors opened with a video that sparked a worldwide protest, capturing Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck, which they say killed him.
You can believe your eyes that it's a homicide, it's murder.
Chauvin's attorney argued the video doesn't tell the whole story, that Floyd died of an underlying heart condition, and
the ingestion of methamphetamine and fentanyl and the adrenaline flowing through his body.
New video from the scene and emotional testimony seemed to drive the prosecution's case. Like from Charles McMillan, the man heard on body camera video pleading with Floyd to give in to police.
I don't have a problem. I understand him.
Also heard for the first time since the beginning of the trial, Chauvin himself on police body camera footage as he defends his treatment of Floyd to McMillan.
Gotta control this guy because he's a sizable guy. Looks like he's coming on something.
Arguably, the strongest testimony for the prosecution came from members of the Minneapolis Police Department. Sergeant David Kluger, now retired, was a supervising officer on duty. He was asked if Chauvin followed police protocol.
Do you have an opinion as to when the restraint of Mr. Floyd should have ended in this encounter?
Yes.
What is it?
When Mr. Floyd was no longer offering up any resistance to the officers that could allegedly restrain him.
And that was after he was handcuffed and on the ground and no longer resisting.
Correct.
The jury also heard from 35-year police veteran Richard Zimmerman, who testified it was totally unnecessary for Chauvin to kneel on Floyd's neck after he'd been handcuffed, calling it deadly use of force.
Once you handcuff somebody, does that affect the amount of force that you should consider using?
Absolutely.
Also,
once a person is cuffed, the threat level goes down.
Chauvin's attorney attempted to undermine Zimmerman's credibility, arguing that Zimmerman is a detective, not a patrol officer.
It would not be within your normal role or job duties to do such a use of force analysis, right? That's correct.
During the week of testimony, a common emotion emerged from some of the eyewitnesses. Remorse. Christopher Martin was a cashier who suspected Floyd handed him a fake $20 bill, an interaction that initiated the police response. The teenager was asked what he now feels about the encounter.
If I would have just not taken the bill, this could have been avoided.
trial will resume on Monday. The court isn't telegraphing in advance who the witnesses will be, but we are expecting that the chief of police here in Minneapolis may testify. But again, Fred, one theme that we have seen thus far in week one of testimony in this case, some of the most damning testimony has come from Chauvin's fellow officers in the Minneapolis Police Department who rejected this notion that he was somehow acting within policy when he pinned George Floyd's neck to the pavement for over 9 minutes. Fred.
It's been a stunning and very sad week. All right, Josh Campbell, thank you so much. And we'll be right back.
Come on now. You gotta cut me loose. Where you go? Come on, Hey, you ain't gonna leave me like this.
Should've just sold it to me, little man.
Each year, Americans waste $21 billion by overpaying on car insurance. That's why I went to thezebra.com. Because while every company claims to save you money on car insurance, the Zebra shows you who actually can. You can easily compare quotes from top providers all at once. With the Zebra, you can save up to $375 a year. No fees and no spammy phone calls. Because who needs that?
See what you can save. Compare car insurance for free at thezebra.com.
What kind of dog do you have? Find out with an Embark Dog DNA Kit. Test for over 350 breeds. Reveal their family tree. And screen for over 200 genetic health risks. EmbarkVet.com.
Audi e-tron, the next frontier of electric.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for him, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We also make USAA for military spouses and their kids. Become a member. Get an insurance quote today.
At CNN, we see the devastation caused by natural disasters, famine, and war. We also see how the generosity of others can change lives. You and CNN's Impact Your World can help. Reputable charities that are checked out by CNN. See the difference it makes. You give time, share stories, or donate by just clicking the button. Be a part of the solution. Impact Your World.
This new year, shine a light on the world of money with Greenlight, the debit card for kids. They'll learn to earn, save, and invest. Join more than 2 million parents and kids at greenlightcard.com.
The myths are real. Godzilla will come back. And Kong vows to no one.
In theaters and on HBO Max now play rated PG-13.
My all-time favorite moment, Tonight Show, 1964, Ed Ames from Daniel Boone. The classic Ed Ames counterpart. The fact that it was live, unexpected. He just knows. The laughter, he just waits. I think Johnny Carson became Johnny Carson in that moment.
I didn't even know you were Huey.
The Story of Late Night premieres Sunday night, May 2nd at 9.
We try to be global and we try to be smart. But I want to hear authentic voices of people who are passionate, who are intelligent, and that's the consistency that we try to get at.
Dorit Zakaria GPS, Sundays on CNN.
From allegations of extortion and sex trafficking to new accusations of sharing nude photos on the House floor, the scandal surrounding Congressman Matt Gaetz gets stranger by the day. CNN has obtained audio recordings of Gaetz shedding light on his relationship with a Florida politician who has been indicted. with underage sex trafficking. Gates is responding to all of the allegations against him with a blanket denial. With me now, CNN political commentator Ana Navarro and legal analyst Jennifer Rogers. Good to see both of you, ladies. So I want to go through this audio with you. First, we've got this radio interview from 2017 where Gates promotes this Florida politician, Joel Greenberg, for a potential run for Congress. Take a listen.
Joel Greenberg has gone into the Seminole County Tax Collector's office. He's taken it by storm. He's been a disruptor. So I think that if Joel Greenberg runs with his ability to fundraise, with his ability to, put his own skin in the game for his campaign, if Joel were to run from Seminole County, I think he becomes the next congressman from the 7th District.
So, Anna, you first. What does this tell you about their relationship?
That they obviously know each other and they have a close relationship, and I think we've seen more evidence of that. Look, Fred, this is so upsetting and disturbing, particularly as a Florida voter. I really do think we need better representation in this. And, this is it's like this onion we're looking at, right? Where every moment it's one more layer of the onion that gets unpeeled. So far, there's been no indictment. There's a presumption of innocence unless and until, we see more. And he's found guilty. But what we have seen is that whether what he has done is criminal or whether he gets indicted or not, he's a super freak. He is a super freak who does not deserve to hold the office of congressman representing the state of Florida, particularly when you're supposed to belong to the party that is about Christian and family values. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. It's unseemly and it's unstatesmanlike, and it's grotesque. It's the kind of thing that will get him expelled from any prep school or any university. It's the kind of behavior that would not be accepted in practically any other job place, except in Congress.
Yeah, and we also have this other bizarre voicemail that we'd like to examine here. Gates and Greenberg left this voicemail together, Jennifer, for another Florida lawmaker. Listen.
My dear Anna, your favorite tax collector, and what's in their handle with your favorite U.S. Congressman, Mr. Gates.
Hi, Anna.
And we were just chatting about you and talking about your lovely qualities. And
we think you're the future of the Democratic Party in Florida.
Sure.
So Jennifer, that also kind of underscores kind of the icky factor that, Anna was talking about there. But what do you make of that audio?
Well, it's really interesting, Fred, because we know that Joel Greenberg was charged with a wide variety of offenses last summer, including stalking a political rival. So, it's now looking like what we've learned in the last couple of days as the leaks continue to come out is that Matt Gaetz is being investigated for much more than just the initial travel with the 17-year-old that we first heard about, but seems to be involved, potentially at least, or is being investigated for some of the activities that Joel Greenberg was involved in and has been indicted for. So, if the person that we're calling is the political rival who is the subject of the stalking charges for Joel Greenberg, it's possible that that's one of the things that Matt Gaetz is now being investigated for, whether he participated in that enough to warrant charges.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really serious and upsetting. Because sources are telling CNN that Gaetz has a reputation for bragging about his sex life, including showing off photos of nude women that he claimed to have slept with to other lawmakers. Gaetz, he has not responded to CNN for comment on this, but Anna, we're talking about reports of him showing these images of nude women on the House floor. No indication that this is connected to the Justice Department probe, but if it turns out to be true, what are the potential consequences? What is anyone to assess here about the fitness of this congressman, three-term congressman Gaetz?
Well, as far as potential consequences, look, he represents probably one of the safest Republican districts in the country. And so if he's the Republican nominee, I'm not sure what would have to happen for him to lose that seat. But definitely, if Kevin McCarthy wants to have a straight face, if he wants to behave like a minority leader, like a true leader, if he wants to have any moral standing on anything, He should investigate this. And he should ask his caucus and his members, is this true? Was he showing pictures of nude women and of his sexual exploits on the House floor? Because if that happens to be true, despite the fact that it might not be criminal, right? Again, it might just be kinky and freaky. But if it happens to be true, it should not be happening on the House floor. And Kevin McCarthy needs to take steps, strip him from his committee assignments, and make sure that there are consequences. If he ever wants to lecture about family values and Christian values.
And Jennifer, we're talking about multiple types of investigations here. FBI, Department of Justice. How do you assess it all?
Well, it's all one big Department of Justice, and I think that it's being handled, as I've read at least, out of the public integrity section in Washington, D.C. So that's going to be kind of the control center calling the shots, likely with help from Florida FBI as well. But it sounds like there are a lot of different things they're looking at. Anna's right, that likely would be criminal in terms of showing pictures and the like. But there's a lot of things that have been reported in the papers that are certainly criminal. So it's going to be a matter of collecting the evidence, seeing if there's enough, and then seeing whether, in terms of prosecutorial discretion, they want to go ahead. Some of the things that have been discussed, like campaign finance crimes, are not always handled criminally, so that'll be part of the mix as well. But we're just going to have to wait and see what DOJ does.
Okay. Jennifer Rogers, thank you so much. Amara, stick around as you and I will also reflect on a very tough week of trial. The trial of Derek Chauvin will have implications far beyond the verdict. We'll talk about that next.
It's the only way. And all the hard work's already done.
Purchase and get $10 per horsepower with Dodge Power Dollars. That's $7,970 on the Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat Red Eye.
No, certainly not. Sir, I'm near the station. A man without a job, with limited prospects. At those rates, repayment was my only guarantee. I said I'd do my best, and I did. You're continuing to ignore me.
When news happens, anywhere in the world, CNN is there.
A CNN investigation into a peaceful protest turned deadly.
They heard an explosion. There was an exchange of gunfire. Growing concern here, imports might be carrying the virus.
The pandemic's now rocking many of even a known income.
This family, $3 per month. The country's always been changing, but it's never been as fast as it has been.
We're going to go see if he has anything to say. Was it your team that poisoned the family?
At CNN, we see the devastation caused by natural disasters, famine, and war. We also see how the generosity of others can change lives. You and CNN's Impact Your World can help. Reputable charities that are checked out by CNN. See the difference it makes when you give time, share stories, or donate by just clicking the button. Be a part of the solution. Impact Your World.
We made USAA insurance for busy veterans like Kate. So when her car got hit, she didn't waste any time. She filed a claim on her USAA app and said, that was easy. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for.
Your mission. Stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq release. With RA, the overactive immune system attacks your joint. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious infections and blood clots, sometimes fatal, have occurred, as have certain cancers, including lymphoma, and tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results. Your doctor should monitor your blood work. Tell your doctor about any infections, and if you are or may become pregnant while taking Rinvoq.
Take on RA. Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq Relief. Rinvoq. Make it your mission. If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
Start each new day with Allison Camerata.
Hold on a second, Mr. Mayor. Can we get some facts about it?
And John Berman.
A crisis situation overnight.
For the most news in the morning. New day. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on CNN. Eagle versus the Klan. From Sunday, April 11th at 9.
All right, let's reflect. As hard as it's going to be, on an especially hurtful week, this was the first week of testimony in the trial of a former Minneapolis police officer who, according to video evidence and eyewitness testimony, killed George Floyd. But this was also a hard look in the mirror for America, both a tapestry and culmination of everyday experiences for much of Black America.
You're dead.
MMA expert Donald Williams shared with us how he stayed within his body, but verbally challenged the officers to stop what they were doing. He wouldn't take the bait of defense attorney Eric Nelson, who preferred to use the word angry in reference to him and the growing crowd. Williams describing his demeanor this way.
Where's my damn lantern?
Resident Charles McMillan told the court and us how 5 days prior to George Floyd's death, he said to Officer Derek Chauvin, "Now you get home to your family so we can get home safely to ours." And then McMillan, seeing Officer Chauvin pinning down Floyd, watched over the takedown like a concerned family member, saying, "You can't win."
I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to win. I don't ground anything. I can't do it. You know it. You know it. Don't do me like that, man.
And in a moment, foreshadowing and reality come crashing together. The seasoned and the young forever impacted, prior to McMillan breaking down on the stand. Who could forget the voice of now 18-year-old DF, who testified she has nightmares, and like store clerk Christopher Mellon, is ridden with guilt. If only she could have done something more. If only he had not said anything about the counterfeit $20. Insurmountable grief, guilt, compounded, dropped on, inserted into so many innocent people, forever impacted, and forever gone senselessly after such cruelty and
come on.
According to the week's testimony, a jovial, tender father, brother, sexually described a mama's boy, and vulnerable yet affable boyfriend, all wrapped up in the man we've all come to be familiar with, George Floyd. In 1 week, so much anguish on display and felt. A sad reflection on a horrific moment from 1 year ago. A heartbreaking reflection of where we continue to be in America. So joining me right now to discuss is Cornell William Brooks, a civil rights attorney and a former president and CEO of the NAACP, and Ana Navarra, a CNN political commentator. Cornell, you first. I mean, how did this week of testimony hit you?
This week of testimony was extraordinarily difficult. Why? Because African Americans have been told over and over again, if you just comply, you won't be killed by the police. And what we saw in the testimony and heard in the testimony witness after witness after witness is that George Floyd was pinned to the ground with his hands cuffed behind him with the officer's knee on his neck. He involuntarily complied. He posed no risk. So though he involuntarily complied, he yet died. The witnesses in the crowd, the bystanders in the crowd, they morally begged Derek Chauvin not to kill George Floyd. They morally begged, but they did not physically intervene. They too complied, and yet George Floyd died, was murdered, and they are yet racially traumatized, as are all of us. Please note this. This trial took place
shut up.
the Jewish observance of Passover and the Christian observance of Easter. So when Derek Chauvin used his knee to pin George Floyd's neck onto the pavement in Minneapolis, Derek Chauvin also used his knee to pin George Floyd's neck on the pages of the Jewish Torah, on the pages of the Christian Bible, both of which declare, "Thou shalt not kill." So this week for millions of Americans has been extraordinarily traumatizing and triggering, because we've had to see the video yet again and again, listen to these witnesses tell us what we already know, that which common sense and compassion yet declares, that we are eyewitnesses to a murder, a flesh and blood taking of life. And so yes, this has been an extraordinarily difficult week.
Anna, I understand you, like me, I mean, crying all week, you know, watching this. It was hard to watch. It was important to watch. But it is indelible for all of us.
First, Fred, thank you for letting me speak on this, because I think too often this trial gets portrayed as a black issue, as a black trial, as something that is affecting the black community. And of course it is. George Floyd was black, and there's been way too many George Floyds. There's been way too many Emmett Tills in history. But it's not only a black issue. It is not only a black problem. This is a humanitarian problem. This is a lack of humanity that should break the hearts of every American. And I wish every American was paying attention and was watching this trial, as hard as it is. It shouldn't be that you know, our whiteness allows us to look the other way or to not follow it in detail. Because you know, it helps you understand why it is then that saying words like Black Lives Matter matters. It helps you understand so much of the history and so much of the emotional baggage. And this is something that all of us in America need to work on solving: the racial tensions, the racial issues, the lack of humanity. Because if that video were of somebody standing on the neck,
what the fuck? Come on, I didn't know that. Come on.
All of America would be shocked and would be horrified. And it is up to all of America to be shocked and horrified and disgusted by what we have seen. We cannot look the other way. So I'm telling you this, if you are not black, you need to watch what's happening. Every African American knows that this already has to happen, and that this has gone on for hundreds of years in this country. It's the rest of us that cannot afford to look away, that must know that this is happening and why people feel the way they feel.
Yeah. Navarro, Cornell Brooks, thank you so much. I mean, isn't it our collective dream, you know, that this nightmare that we all saw again, you know, in real time, on videotape, through testimony, can help break this cycle. Yeah. Got to. Thank you so much to both of you. We'll be right back.
Each year, Americans waste $21 billion by overpaying on car insurance. That's why I went to thezebra.com. Because while every company claims to save you money on car insurance, The Zebra shows you who actually can. You can easily compare quotes from top providers all at once. With the Zebra, you can save up to $375 a year. No fees and no spammy phone calls. Because who needs that?
See what you can save. Compare car insurance for free at thezebra.com.
When news happens anywhere in the world, CNN is there.
A CNN investigation into a peaceful protest turned deadly.
They heard an explosion. There was an exchange of gunfire. Growing concern here, imports might be carrying the virus.
The pandemic's now robbing many of even a minimum income.
This family, $3 per month. The country's always been changing, but it's never been as fast as it has been.
We're going to go see if he has anything to say. Is it your team that pulls in the family?
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. I'm excited to let you know that my digital show Full Circle is back. You can watch it every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 6 p.m. live, Eastern Time, or anytime on demand. And to make sure you never miss a show, you can get alerts on every episode via the CNN app. I'll see you in a minute.
We made USAA insurance for busy veterans like Kate. So when her car got hit, she didn't waste any time. She filed a claim on her USAA app and said, that was easy. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. USAA.
Last year, Invesco QQQ brought you stories about agents of innovation. Now,
Wow, last year is what a year. It's a tremendous year for us. Acceleration has been overwhelming. The hybrid approach is going to be the approach. You don't have to be together in person. We can bring our experience to everyone who want to use it.
My all-time favorite moment, Tonight Show, 1964, Ed Ames from Daniel Boone.
The classic Ed Ames Town Clock. The fact that it was live, unexpected.
He just knows. The laughter, he just waits. I think Johnny Carson became Johnny Carson in that moment.
I didn't even know you were doing it.
The Story of Late Night premieres Sunday night, May 2nd at 9. Her son, then Beulah May, in an all-white jury, took the Klan down. The People versus the Klan, premieres Sunday, April 11th at 9. When news happens anywhere in the world, CNN is there.
The crackdown inside was significantly worse. Do you know who these children are? Have you seen them before?
We were looking for the lost Uyghur children of Xinjiang.
What brought you to the clinic here today?
This is part of the campaign that we were considering.
Another brutal day for Brazil, more than 3,000 deaths. People feel compelled to make this dark, perilous journey. China is not happy with this reporting.
At CNN, we see the devastation caused by natural disasters, famine, and war. We also see how the generosity of others can change lives. You and CNN's Impact Your World can help. Reputable charities that are checked out by CNN. See the difference it makes. You give time, share stories, or donate by just clicking the button. Be a part of the solution. Impact Your World.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
All right, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Frederica Whitfield, but before we end this hour, I want to welcome the newest member of the CNN Weekend Show team, Jim Acosta, anchoring CNN Newsroom right after me now on Saturdays and Sundays. Jim, good to see you. Congratulations. What you got coming up?
Yeah, it's great to be here with you. And we've known each other for so long, so it's wonderful to do this handoff with you. We're going to have Dr. Anthony Fauci coming up later on in the show. He's going to be talking about what is being done to get life back to normal in this country. I think that's a key question. That's what everybody wants to know, right? When can we take off these masks and go back to enjoying our lives? So we'll talk about that. I have a lot of other guests coming up later on in this newsroom for today, and looking forward to it. Thanks for having us.
Oh, fantastic. All right, well, I know the gang is all there and ready to christen you for the weekend, and I'm wishing you the best.
Thanks, Fred.
All right, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Take care.
And you are live in the CNN Newsroom. I'm Jim Acosta in Washington, and that is where we begin in the nation's capital, where the security of the U.S. Capitol is building once again in question after two deadly attacks less than 90 days apart. The latest one carried out by a knife-wielding man who rammed his car into two Capitol police officers, killing one, wounding another, and shocking a city that is still grappling with the events of the January 6th insurrection. While the motive remains unclear, sources tell CNN the 25-year-old suspect had ranted online about the CIA and FBI, claiming he was the victim of mind control. His actions took the life of Officer William Evans, an 18-year veteran of the force and father of two. Flags are now flying at half-staff in his honor, and we have a team of reporters up on Capitol covering the latest stories. CNN's Boris Sanchez has new details on the officer who was killed. But let's begin with CNN's Pete Montine, who's learning new details about the suspect and posts that he made, disturbing posts, online prior to the attack. Pete, what can you tell us?
Well, Jim, investigators are just now digging into the past of 25-year-old Noah Green. And perhaps the most telling here are his social media posts in the days leading up to this attack. We have found an Instagram account that appeared to belong to Green, and in it he made a trio of very interesting posts. The first, he said, "I've suffered multiple home break-ins, food poisonings, unauthorized operations," and he said that he was the victim of mind control. In another post, he said, with a photo of the head of the Nation of Islam, that the U.S. government is the enemy of black people. A third post, he said he suffered terrible afflictions, presumably by the CIA and the FBI. Now, Green was a graduate of Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia, not too far away from here. We're told he played football there, that he was a pretty good athlete, and that he was a bit of a quiet loner type. The head of the DHS says there's still a lot to learn about this case. A lot is still unraveled in this investigation, and those guarding the Capitol here are still not taking any chances. The black fence behind me, Jim, that went up not long after the January 6th failed insurrection. But new this morning are the new barriers that have gone in to make sure that nobody can get close to the Capitol. No chances being taken here, along with 2,300 members of the National Guard now guarding the U.S. Capitol, Jim.
Yeah, Pete, it seems as though we're not going to see those barriers come down anytime soon in light of the Boris. In the meantime, we are seeing tributes to the officer killed in the attack. Just unbelievable that we're now seeing yet another Capitol in this city. What can you tell us? Yeah, that's right, Jim. And you noted some of the symbols and offerings of condolence that you can see around D.C., including flags being lowered to half-staff here at the Capitol.
Wait. Okay then, girl. Yep. Yeah. this here the Gray Plantation? Yep. Gallagher Hall. Hey, look, I've been helping the sheriff with some trouble. Wanted me to have a word with a few of the folks on the property here.
Emmett Lee. All right. Have a word. But I ain't got the time to help you.
Obliged. Hey, can you talk?
I look like I can talk? You want to talk, try Bo Gray. How about the storehouse? Man won't lift a hand, but sure can move his lips.
Huh. I'll see you at the sheriff's office.
Excuse me, friend.
We friends?
Not yet, but he is hoping.
I guess.
We don't get a lot of traveling men here, and suddenly there's a whole phalanx of mysterious but strangely helpful Yankees about the place.
Is there?
What are you doing here?
I was just looking for work.
Well, looking for something. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me.
What secret?
I got a secret of my own.
Are you secretly normal?
Excuse me?
Never mind.
The thing is, I don't care if you kill the whole lot of us and the Braithwaites.
I don't want to kill anyone.
I love her, you know.
Love who?
Penelope. But it's impossible.
Love tends to be complicated.
She's a Braithwaite. I'm Bo Gray, son of Tavish Gray, nephew of Lee Gray, the sheriff, grandson of old Murdo Gray. We Grays have been loyal to the state and murderous to the Braithwaites for so long now, no one can even quite explain why. Beyond blind loyalty and stupidity. I'm supposed to be loyal to some nonsense while she's amazing. She's like a woman from the future. She's like tomorrow, if tomorrow turns out fine.
Well, I'm sorry for your predicament.
Would you help?
I don't want to get involved in gang feuds. It seems unseemly.
I'll pay. I've got money. We Grays, we've always got money. No brains, mind, but money.
Well, in that case...
I know she loves to sit out in the gazebo on the edge of the Braithwaite property. Take her this letter and this bracelet, please.
Oh, look out for their guards. They're worse for strangers than ours are.
And good luck.
Are you Penelope Braithwaite?
Well, yes, I am.
I've got a letter for you.
Oh.
And a gift.
A letter and a gift. Well, we don't even know each other.
Ha! Well, it's not from me. It's from,
From Bo. Oh, he is so...
Strange?
Yes, he's a little strange, but also so human. The rest of our families are stuck in the Dark Ages, or... Well, I don't know, cave people, perhaps. Bo's different. But if they find out, they'll kill him and send me to live someplace awful like Ohio. Have you ever been to Ohio, sir?
No.
Well, neither have I, but my uncle has a factory there. He was sort of the black sheep on account of having left. But now they tolerate him because he's a vicious snob. Families are they're something else. You got a family, sir?
No, not really.
Well, they tolerate him because of the money. But me, with my ideas above my station, they can't stand.
That sounds pretty complicated. I don't know quite what to say.
Well, nothing to say, except I hope they all rot. I don't. Well, maybe a bit. But here, if you see Bo again, will you give this to him?
Sure.
One, two, three, 7, 6, 4, 5, 11, 1, 2, 10, 3, 5, 8, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 17, 21, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9.
You got my money?
Sure. Did she give anything? For me?
Yes.
Might I have it?
Sure. It'll cost you. I can't be bothered. Here, take it.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you. My God. What a woman. This'll get her killed for sure.
What?
Women's suffrage. Around here, they don't even like men voting. They'd bring back the monarchy given half a chance. Progress is a dirty word in these parts. Unlike incest.
Excuse me?
I don't want to marry my cousin Matilda. I want to marry Penelope. But they'll kill her at one of those rallies they're holding. They've done it before. Mister, you gotta help.
No, I'm afraid I don't want no part of it.
I'll pay. My family, we've still got some money.
Fine. Just no more running around with letters.
Thank you. Come on. We better get going. Mount up, all right. And follow me to Rose. Come on! Come on! Yeah! We'll go around the property and take the road to town.
Easy, boy. Calm down.
I can't be calm. If we don't get there in time, my true love may be shot.
If she wants to rally, you gotta let her rally.
Well, good as the cause is, I can't let her become a martyr to it. I want to marry a flesh and blood woman, not a statue in her honor.
I'm sure they know what they're doing.
There they are.
Bo, what are you doing here?
I cannot let you go through with this. You'll be killed.
I'm prepared to die for the cause, Bo. You know that.
Do something, please.
What? Fight this mob? They'd eat me alive.
This is no laughing matter, sir. They need protecting from certain elements. Mostly my family. Penelope, I beg you.
I'll tell you what. Your friend here can drive the wagon for us. It'll allow us to shout all the louder. Hooray!
Sure.
Miss Calhoun! Miss Calhoun! My friend here says he can drive the wagon.
Well, Olive Calhoun. Normally I like to drive myself, but today I feel like a man joining us sends the right message.
Well, I ain't never been in a protest march before, madam.
Well, just treat us like the sheep, and the folks attacking us like the wolves, and I'm sure you feel right at home. Shall we go? All right, ladies. We know our song is a good one, and we know our cause is a pure one.
Yes, ma'am.
Let liberty reign! We're mothers, wives, housekeepers, and daughters. We cook the food and we fetch the water.
Take us down Main Street, right through town to the steps of the Becker Roads, Mr. What was your name?
Arthur Morgan.
Very good, Mr. Morgan. Not too quick and not too slow. We need them to hear our voice.
Well, they'll hear it all right.
Very good, very good. Mr. Morgan, are you an old friend of the movement?
Just a driver, Mrs. Calhoun. Maybe a shotgun messenger if it comes to it. I hope it won't.
Well, our message will be delivered peaceably, Mr. Morgan. You can keep your shotgun to yourself. Stay on Main Street. It's a left up here, Mr. Morgan. Look at these people. It's about to get exciting. I can feel it.
I believe you might be right.
Good day, Sheriff. I trust you'll make sure it's a peaceful assembly. Do give it a rest, you sorry fool. Mr. Morgan, I give you the male of the species.
Yeah, that's a pretty dumb specimen, I guess.
All Almost there. Take us just a little further, please. Those are the steps, Mr. Morgan. Stop in front there, and then all you need to do is listen. Ladies, get down!
Come on! Come on! Go home! Shut your mouth! What you the hell is going on? Well, here! Oh my God! Shit! Cause all this trouble! You don't even know how to get
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great day for all of us. For today is the day we begin to live as equals. Yes, equal, sir. Fair and equal.
This is unnatural. This is nonsense.
Fair, equal, and free, just as the Founding Fathers intended.
Founding fathers, not founding mothers, you silly old goat.
His philosophy dependent on biology.
What the hell you doing here, boy?
Keep your voice down. I'm trying to listen to the speech.
Hello, darling cousin. Don't you ever speak to me like that. What are you doing here? Listening, I suppose.
Go help Bo. His cousin is a moron. Stop them from ruining the speech.
You need to learn yourself some manners, cousin. Haven't you got anything better to do? Oh, you always will.
Bo, weren't we just leaving?
Who the hell is this?
Follow me, Ron.
What? You'll hit me?
Come on.
Sir, can you not see how idiotic you are?
Come on, Bo. Let's go. Quick now.
We gotta go before they think twice. Oh, Lord. Follow me. I know a place. It's an old battlefield no one goes to.
You don't want to go back and hear the speeches? I ain't voted before, but kind of getting hot for voting rights.
I don't know whether to take you seriously, Mr. Morgan. My cousins are my primary concern right now. If everyone knows about Penelope and me...
Everyone knows about Penelope and you. I know about Penelope and you, and I've been here only 10 minutes. Sooner it's out, sooner it's resolved.
The sooner it's dealt with, you mean?
We're dealt with.
Our families, the Grays and the Braithwaites, we bury our secrets, and we bury them deep.
Your secrets and your treasure.
You know, Catherine Braithwaite's got a daughter. No one's seen her in years. She weren't right, you know, and Penelope said...
I ain't heard about daughters. I heard about gold.
Well, Yankee gold? I fear that's just a story, Mr. Morgan. But I don't know.
This is awful.
Nobody died. Ain't that awful?
My cousins are vindictive bastards. My brothers are vindictive bastards. My cousins are worse.
They started it.
I know, but...
You should leave.
I will, as soon as I have enough money. When my family... We have money, but I don't.
Is your family very rich?
Yes, well, I believe so. But, they keep me out of the discussions. I have more of a... artistic temperament, so...
Oh, is that what they call it?
Yes. Oh, you made a joke. I really love her. I do.
Well, stick around. Maybe you can die for her as well.
I thought you were trying to make me feel better.
Look, I gotta go.
Me too. Oh, damn! I'm gonna be late. My uncle is quite as bad as you would imagine. Here, your payment. Thank you. Excuse me. Moin air is free for you?
Don't look quite right.
Gwen Hughes, start picking out a box for yourself if you don't got that money you owe Leopold Strauss.
I don't... I need more time.
Doesn't everybody? That casket for you? Or you want another?
Wait. I can get it for you. But, well, come with me to the churchyard. And stay close. Hmm?
All right.
Oh, this ain't right. I mean, I'll get you your money, but, well, you'll see.
What ain't right is borrowing money you can't pay back.
I guess you're correct, but, this, it ain't exactly right, what we're doing.
You ain't the first to put his hand in the collection box, and you won't be the last. Rest a little easier knowing church has been taking more than they need off poor folks since time began.
I ain't doing this myself. Come back. Well, like I said, well, the morality of the matter is a little more confusing than that.
Okay. You head on in the church, I'll keep watch.
Well, it ain't in there. It's under here. I'm digging up Mrs. Claypole. Stay close to me, man. Jesus! She got a bunch of jewels in there that she don't need. Oh, damn it. There's a bunch of people here. Oh, I got it. Look, you clear them all, and I'll wait right around here. But don't hurt nobody.
Nope.
You two might want to find somewhere a little more private.
We was fine until you got here, mister. Good day now.
Get out of here, kids. Move!
Come on. I knew we shouldn't have been here.
You missed your chance, boy.
Ma'am, would you mind clearing out of here for some maintenance work?
Oh, gladly. It's about time this place got cleaned up.
It's all clear.
All right. Now go watch the gate. I'll get to this.
Hello there, sir.
I'm sorry, ma'am. The church grounds are closed for maintenance work.
Well, it's about time, too. The place was in need of some care and attention.
gentlemen. Church grounds are closed.
I don't care very much what they are.
Get the hell out of this churchyard. Are you boys gonna need yourselves a preacher?
You hear this fella?
I heard him all right. We're gonna lick you, bastard. Let's go, mister. Hope this holds Doug.
All right, well, here's your payment. Oh, forgive me, Mrs. Claypole.
What you find?
She had a brooch here. Looks like diamonds.
Well, this'll do. Now get out of here before someone sees you. got some here for you.
There a war on I don't know about? How the hell you get it so beat up? And this is for you. See you again soon.
In a little friendly competition.
You a shooting man? I've been looking for a challenge and I ain't found one yet. What'd you say?
Oh. Why don't we find out?
Good. Whoever shoots the most bottles wins, okay? All right. All right. Stand alongside me. As soon as you pull your weapon and aim, we let fly. Ah, damn it! That's right! Ah! Yeah!
Yeah? Guess that explains it. I'm brand new.
It's hard lines, partner. Here's an idea. What do you say we raise the stakes?
Yeah.
Stumbling at...
Hello, sir. New in town? Store's pretty self-explanatory. Feel free to browse goods and sundries on the shelves. There's a full range in the catalog right here.
Now, let's have a look.
done. Here. Something else you're after? Goodbye.
Want to buy paper?
Thanks.
Next time.
Of course, of course. Oh, and here is my dear friend, Arthur Callahan. Boy is a hunter. Boy is a killer. Arthur, you've met but not been introduced to Mr. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sheriff.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
Tough business you boys had.
We did?
Well, there's no need to pretend with me, sir. Life can be tough.
So it can.
And no man owes another anything.
No, sir.
But still, I feel you were hard done by. Losing your employment like that. But still, here in Rhodes, we have work enough for honest men.
Ah, that's some strong stuff. Still, don't seem to be doing you any harm, I guess.
Exactly. Whoa. Excuse me a moment.
I told you we was moving up in this world. Deputies.
You have finally lost your mind.
Amongst these drunkards, hillbillies, and slavers? Good, honest thieves like us. We're bound to be moralizers in a place like this. Oh, Sheriff Gray, you are back.
Now listen, sir. There is shine in them woods, though. And it is costing this county its good name. And the state a whole lot of income. You boys wouldn't mind rooting it out. Maybe we'll make you permanent. Yes, I gotta set me down.
Not a problem, sir. Not a problem at all. You are in safe hands now. And people waste time in the temperance movement. Liquor never dulled a good man's senses. Arthur, you ride with the deputy. Bill and I will follow.
Archibald?
How are you?
Pretty good.
And your friend is behaving himself?
Oh, yes. I think he's learned his lesson.
Congratulations on becoming a temporarily deputized citizen of Scarlet Meadows County. Most towns just get bounty hunters to do their dirty work these days, but Sheriff Gray believes the law should keep the law. Now, I'm sure I don't need to remind you there's a chain of command here.
There is?
Dang straight there is. This is a dangerous business, but follow my lead and you'll be just fine.
Sure. Hey! Archibald wants to remind us he's in charge here.
Of course!
Who else would be?
But you were a big help with them Anderson boys, and I put in a very good word with the sheriff on your behalf.
We appreciate that.
We rounded up the others soon after. I'm pushing for the rope myself, but that's by the by.
So, these moonshiners.
Not just any moonshiners, Braithwaites. I told you about the Braithwaites.
Pretty sure you did.
Old Cotton family had a fortune at one point until, well, a few changes in the labor laws. Now they're dealing in moonshine. We found their stills hidden all over Lemoyne. Quick as we destroy one, another one pops up. You could call it a pitiful fall from grace, if they had any grace to start with.
I have no time for tax doctors.
Not to mention the fact that Catherine Braithwaite has a rather expensive interest in thoroughbred horses to maintain.
But I heard something about it being gold these families were fighting over.
Well, that's the rumor. But the Grays and the Braithwaites think the others stole a fortune from them. But it happened so long ago, I don't know for sure if it's true.
Must be tough being rich, huh?
So I imagine.
weather suits you, Mr. W.
Yes. I thought so too.
Does it feel good to be back at it? Serving your country?
I wouldn't go that far.
Whoa! Whoa! Hold up. You see that wagon? Keep your eyes open. Oh, this must have happened recently. Hey, come have a look at this.
I swear they got it in.
Look, suit and tie. One bullet clean through the forehead. Well, my money says this is the handiwork of a gang called the Lemoyne Raiders.
Yeah, I've run into them.
Let's see if we've got any identification. Okay. We should get going. I'll send someone over here later to clean this up. Would you mind taking the reins? I want to have a look at these papers.
Sure.
I'll direct you. Okay. Frederick Mitchell, Lemoyne State Legislator. Poor fella. Yes, this certainly smacks of the Raiders to me. Bunch of ex-Army Free Staters without an ounce of respect for the law. That's 7 government officials they've murdered this year alone. Go right at the crossroads.
Yep. Not the nicest fellas in my experience.
Oh, and I know the Braithwaites are in business with them. No shame. They're right again here. Trash begets trash, my Uncle Reginald used to say. He had a few stories, let me tell you. Town preacher and town sheriff. Drink a sailor under the table before breakfast. He had one tiny hand, like a child's, on the end of a grown man's arm. But anyway, this tells you what kind of people the Braithwaites are. Selling moonshine to murderers. I tell folks don't even speak to him. Don't even look him in the eye. Here we are. So what was I saying?
Something about the Braithwaites, I think.
Just saying that word makes me sick. Now, anyone we find here... we bring in alive, understand? Now, come up and take this operation down for good. Come on. Let's see what we get. See? What did I tell you boys? What did I say? I said this place was crawling with vermin, and we just found ourselves the rat's nest par excellence, as they say in Paris. My aunt, she went to Paris back in '78.
I won't handle this.
Well, the way I said...
Actually, let my friend here decide. He doesn't have your fine way of words, but he is definitely the man for the job. Let's split up. Arthur and Bill. Me and Archibald. You boys want right or left?
We'll take the left.
Let's stop these filthy, degenerate tax dodgers.
tied this bastard up. I think there's another one by the still.
Good work, gentlemen.
I think that's it.
Well, what do we do now?
We better destroy all this. Any of your boys can handle explosives?
Sure. Anyone but him.
Oh,
So-
think you're real funny, don't you?
Tell me about the...
That is the last time I'll mention it, I swear.
Yeah, I'm... Arthur. I'd rather not be here when their friends notice the shine's gone.
Well done. Well, forgive me, but me and my men must return to our lives. Ah, seems like we failed to destroy the last of the moonshine.
Sure.
Would you like us to?
Well, I normally take it for personal consumption. It's sort of part of the job. But I better get back home. Why don't I just take a jug or two and leave you boys the rest to show that there's no hard feelings on account of the war?
We are all Americans.
Of course. My cousin, Webster. He used to say some of us is not as American as others, if you know what I mean. Only I didn't quite. Come on, you degenerate, no-good, white trash, hillbilly piece of scum. I know you, Billy Lime.
Finally.
You've always been a piece of crap. Come on, move.
We have a life on a land so stupid, a backwater so backwards that even we are like geniuses. Bill, get this stuff out of here. Come on, you ride with me. Okay.
Should I stash this somewhere near camp, boss?
Yes, show it to Hosea. I'm sure he can find a use for it. Bit of trouble back there, Arthur?
Ain't there always? From what they was yelling,